I mean, this run, 22 matches in the year. As we head into Champion Select, can they back it up?
Here's what I'll say. KT is the second big test for Griffin. They faced a top team, the double back-to-back champions, and won to Griffin, and that was already okay. Strength of schedule starting to fall away as an argument. KT are the best laning and early game team in the LCK. Now we see Griffin, who traditionally in Challenger were criticized for a weak early game, into strong team fights. The strong team fights have persisted. The early game's gotten better. There's better early games, and there's being able to match KT Rolster in the early game. So we get another very important data point after this series of how Griffin fares in the early game against the best.
Yeah, and this was always sort of where KT fell down as well. I mean, it was the Gen G strategy, wasn't it? Play for the late game, just weather the storm in the early game. And that was where KT was falling down. It was like the Achilles heel was definitely, you know, then Samsung, now Gen G. But the same bans are actually coming in here for Griffin. They banned Talia and Tahm Kench and Nocturne every single game in their 2-0 against Kingzone. Now they don't have to ban the Talia, and what is going to be that final ban? With Shen Morgana taken first here for KT.
KT, a lot of focus on Lehens, likely to be the Shen and the Morgana player, but we've seen Griffin already ape what we saw from SKT and play the bot lane Morgana in the carry role. Flex Morgana going to be a very frequent ban on either blue or red side, depending on when you want to pick it. A lot of stuff is open, though, when it comes to the Zoe, for example, but we saw Chovy win both sides of the matchup, so focusing on Yukal here, if they want to prize a mid laner, they will not, and they blind Aatrox to open things out. It has been a pretty common strategy, but will Sword go for lane or go for teamfight when he sees the Aatrox? Because Mundo and Renekton, for different reasons, are pretty attractive picks into an Aatrox.
Yeah, we saw Smeb playing, I believe it was the Mundo in back-to-back games earlier on. Oh no, sorry, Khan played the Mundo twice into Sword, so not going for that side of the matchup. But Sejuani really rocketing to prevalence here on 8.12, and that's going to be snapped up there by Tarzan to start off Griffin's picks. Sign
of the meta right now is that the farm to 6 junglers Nocturne banned, but all the rest of them are kind of playable. Does also disincentivize a funnel, but you can run funnel with Sejuani because with her reworks, actually a little bit better in support than she was before, and even then was always sampled in the support role. Hylissang playing it way back when at MSI. Ooh. Zooming in on this draft, though, we do see the Aurelia.
The Aurelia very early flex as well between Chovy and Viper. Of course, Viper picking it up just the once so far.
I think in a lot of matches you just drop the flex nature, but given that Viper is played and given that into Aatrox you can consider it. I don't think you'd want to do it, but you can consider it. It is kind of conspicuous that both of them have passed over Zoe in the first round. We saw a third round, i.e. the second round of picks on blue side Zoe, and that's the latest we've seen Zoe go in forever. So focusing on this particular draft, KT Rolster just going to match the Sejuani. That matchup we've seen now a million times. Every 8-12 game seems to be Trundle versus Sejuani.
Yeah, that is what I've seen almost every single time. But Alistair going to be locked in here for Yukal in Marta's hands. That is very, very daunting.
Very early. This seems to be, what do you got, Lehens? Because Lehens is the one player on the side of Griffin whose effective champion pool has been a bit smaller. Looks like it's probably going to be Agraga support coming through from Lehens, matching the early Alistair. If you look at Lehens this season, 5 games of Shen, 4 games of Morgana. Then from there, it's just Soraka Alistair. So there was only Soraka up, and you look at the side of double knockups and also even the pillar gank at level 2, and you say maybe not Soraka. But we'll see a new champion out of Lehens. He's the one being tested. And I think for KT Rolster, it has to be Deft Marta. It has to be a domination in the laning phase for this early game focused team. And taking Lehens off comfort, you can't take Viper off comfort. He plays literally everything in the bot lane role. So it makes sense to some degree to try to take Lehens off his comfort.
Well, speaking about taking off comfort, it's going to be the Varus band away from Deft. Should be the Ashe band if they're going to fit the script of their previous ban tendencies on this patch. But Ezreal's still available as well, and if they really want to hit Deft, that is another option. But it is going to be the Ashe band away. Vladimir for KT, the Ryze another option, of course, for Viper. Does like to play that one, otherwise it's all one-offs for him, but we have no idea what he's going to be playing on the bottom side, and I think KT probably want to look at something that's just strong right now.
It's also compositional. You can get, if you can't get granular, like lane advantages, then you can go compositional. They'll ban Zoe after seeing Aurelia. That's pretty interesting. Now, again, you already mentioned the fact that they've played Irelia bot lane, so I guess it could have been bot lane Irelia, mid lane Zoe to go through, but conspicuous that it's banned away.
Denying the flex potentially as Yasuo is being considered.
Gragas Yasuo have the actual really sick synergy that most Gragas duos didn't have the anti-synergy with, because you can instantly hold them in place with the last breath and not have the usually disengage ultimate be as valuable. Will that be a Viper champion? Will it be a Chovy champion? Both of those exciting to consider.
And Deft actually thinking about the Gangplank on the bottom side. This has been a popular pick into the Yasuo in games past.
What lane would that be in?
Oh, it's going to be the Mord. It's going to be Mord Alistair as well.
Oh,
this is the matchup that we wanted, and Yukal's going to take the Galio. My God. It's just a brawl fest, and it's KT that's going to be doing it.
So Zabatine was lampooned on the recent episode of The Dive that I listened to this morning at the gym, talking about how range always wins. Well, KT's got no range. They are 5 melee, only brawlers going on.
Speaking of brawlers, we're going to get the matchup you were talking about, Renekton into the Aatrox potentially.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of flex options here. You can get very creative about lane assignments. Aatrox spin in the duo lane and even mid lane this season, but duo lane in solo queue. Very interesting. So 2 champions with the damage reduction in mid. Insane CC wombo comp where Aatrox would like 4 people to distract while he kills everyone on the backside. Meanwhile, Griffin have the winning lane matchup in top. Yasuo Gragas, a really fun duo. Usually it's mid jungle. It's patch 812, baby. It's bot lane. And Mordekaiser Alistair, if they hit the minion wave first, will have a lot of control as well.
Yeah, and we'll see whether Deft and Marta can continue their onslaught. Of course, they did lose against SKT. It was a 2-1, but in game number 1, it was decimation on Summoner's Rift on that bottom side of the map. They destroyed them. Oh my God. The Griffin fans are out in force, but thankfully we've also got a BBQ fan as Yukal is donning the correct skin this time around.
I'm a really, really big fan of the
You
chicken
are
dance.
a really, really big fan.
I wasn't a big fan of the chroma and fly not dancing yesterday, but we got the dances, we got a little bit of fun, and the explosiveness, that'll come later. So many fans lining up to watch this match.
I couldn't believe that Griffin cheer. Thankfully, we do have some KT fans in the audience as well.
Marta and Deft finding plenty of love as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, 10 melee champions is a very intriguing place to be in, as Yukal can't even bother to hit the minion wave.
No, he doesn't want to. He's busy dancing, man. See, he's not going to disappoint you. Not at all.
I mean, you got to say, on a more granular level, think about this season. Yukal came in with a lot of hype. He was fantastic coming in his rookie season. He's actually disappointed me a bit, Atlas. He's been on struggle streak. Think about the matchups he's lost in the telecom war, losing to Aatrox mid as an Aatrox mid with teleport as Ryze and with a jungle Kindred was already pretty interesting. I thought his lane control was actually pretty poor against Faker after doing very well against Faker in the spring season. So it's on the Galio. It's a little bit difficult to show mechanical outplays, but I am looking for impact from Yukal. That's been a little bit absent for KT fans.
Yeah, he's sort of dodging the matchup a little bit by picking the Galio. I feel the same way a little bit, but we'll see whether Yukal's going to be able to still make the global plays and the global effort.
Deft and Marta were able to hit the minion wave first, and when you go for W on level 1 on Mordekaiser, that's kind of the difference between a won and a lost lane. Usually ranged champions will try to poke you out or push the wave or contest the wave before you get to it. But because it's double melee on the side of Viper and Lehens, they kind of have to cede lane control, which can be a pretty damn big thing, as Mordekaiser versus melee is very different to his usual assignment against ranged champions.
Yeah, feels real good, especially when he can utilize that shield, and we'll see whether level 6 is going to be the time that Griffin can really fire back. As speaking of firing back, Sword on this Renekton having a great time against Smeb early on. So impressive that Sword has really created more of a champion pool for himself. Sort of was a self-professed tank player.
He was very much a tank role player. They had a tank, they had a utility supportive mid laner in Rather and a tank role player in Sword, and they bring in Chovy, who couldn't play for the majority of challengers and hasn't played many pro games at any level until his extended run in the team in Summer, and then Sword goes from what is the best available tank to I'm picking for myself, I'm picking Renekton.
Yeah.
I'm willing to try to dominate lane. That is a very big change and an important development because you need to be able to do both. If you can do both, then there's no way to be drafted out. This game, KT looked at all the players and said, okay, maybe Lehens is the one who's susceptible.
The thing that's really impressive is they used to just play around Viper, and it was around Viper playing 80 carries, hyper carries, getting him to a great place in the late game, and then, you know, playing around that. The adaptation is absolutely night and day based on this patch.
Honestly, if I was doing a LCK quiz night and I sat down and I'm like, all right, here's the hardest question, as maybe we'll hold on to the slightly jokier points.
Well, they're going to be able to get this shield down. Lehens taking a fair bit of damage here as the stun does come in. And that's a big bop with the Q.
And remember, it's melee champions and both sides of the matchup are taking Exhaust Ignite. This is actually a lot more kill pressure when you see even the beginning of a CC chain from Alistair coming through. So do respect that Exhaust Ignite on both sides of a bot lane means that people can die in scenarios where it looks like they're just contesting a ranged minion.
And it's 36 CS to 21 here in favor of Deft as well. Is Mordekaiser, we know Deft is a player that does need a lot of comfort, but Mordekaiser represents that for Deft, of course. 75% so far this season.
Saw yesterday when Keen was in the same matchup, you really have to just farm with your E and give up. As the Aatrox, you will lose CS every wave. Score trying to jungle on a side that he's weaker on, but we're seeing a collapse from just a lot of people.
Yep, teleport is coming up. Marta's going to be able to get here first, though, as we're going to have this fight towards the top side of the river. Tarzan taking a bit of damage, but does manage to get the Rift Scuttler. Sword's going to slice and dice his way out. And the aggression is going to subside. It was almost some action, but Griffin do come out on top by taking away the Rift Scuttler.
Yeah, Rift Scuttle may not be the biggest objective, but it is a relevant one in this patch, so it does go the way of Griffin. Coming back to my LCK quiz night.
Yeah, let's go back there. I like it.
Here is the winning question. The hardest question is, who am I and what role do I play? I've played 4 games of Vladimir, 3 of Ryze, Gangplank, Morgana, Yasuo, Taliyah, Lucian, Kai'Sa, Irelia.
Well, I mean,
that sounds like a hodgepodge, right? But
yeah,
you know
if I was answering your question last year, I would say any mid lane or top laner.
Yeah, maybe
Probably top laner.
And that's Viper. Viper has played all of those picks, and he's looked LCK standard on all of them.
Yeah.
So be able to play everything except the hyper carries that he only played when he needed to for the team lets you know that he's definitely got the champion ocean that we ascribe to many players. This guy legit showing it in the LCK.
And in fact, the Lucian that you were talking about, 0% win rate. The Kai'Sa, of course, definitely an AD carry, but played as a jungler, theoretically. So hasn't actually had a victory on any sort of regular AD carry style champion, but has just been dominating with everything else.
Won't dominate in the early laning phase. You can see playing very respectful. Deft can build for lane with the Seeker's Arm Guard. Yasuo has to go for Bam Scepter to try to get through what is tricky laning phase. Level 6 is where this lane takes off a bit, and with a gank also. We've seen both teams play with priority. On the top side, Tarzan got a Rift Scuttle. On the bot side, KT, they want to bop with that Mordekaiser to get this Drake.
Yep, Control Ward is going to be taken down here by Griffin, but that's 4 members of KT that are already set up here around this Cloud Drake, and Tarzan's position has been given up, and they will be able to get this. It's going to reset for a sec, but eventually going to be taken down, and that's a big dragon in the hands of Deft. We know he loves microing that one, but this is a huge moment for KT.
And it's also very well capitalized on. Deft takes more experience in the duo lane because he's Mordekaiser.
Yep.
Against double level 5. You actually look for the contest there if you have Explosive Task and the Last Breath up. But Mordekaiser's level 6, and you guys are so close to actually having the abilities to contest that it's the right time to give up, but also the perfect time to start the Drake.
Yeah. Not going to be able to get the knock up here, but no level 6 available just yet. And look at that gigantic shield the Dragon does offer the Mordekaiser. He's now going to start moving on this turret. Move out of the way. Tarzan's position was given up. Dragon eventually does fall down, but it times out, so no 25 gold going over to the bottom lane of Griffin, so that's good news for KT fans.
Sword getting himself in on the Scuttle action, and we'll have information on that ward just outside the range of the Control Ward. A lot of nice range knowledge being shown by some of our warding techniques.
Yep.
Again, we have a winning top lane for Griffin, a winning bot lane for the side of KT after they crashed the wave at level 1. Able to just check in and see if people are getting objectives around it. high expectations. It's early game KT. It's Griffin in a 6-0 run. They're so far so good for both sides. Waiting for that big swing point, see which way it goes.
Yeah. And we were talking about where KT were going to win if they were going to win, and they are winning in exactly that position. Bottom lane certainly has been in control for them. The top lane, the matchup, certainly not great for Smeb at this point in the game, so it will be all about what Deft and Marta can do with the time and space that they've been given. UCal as well, he's got a decent lead there in the mid lane, but more of a nullifying matchup here. The score's going to deliver him over the blue buff. Adorable little chicken going to take that one down.
Reminder, big takeaway here is we have Griffin, who have always been known for team fighting, but not being a strong early game team until this season, taking on the best early game team ever since this roster came together at the start of 2017. So for a team we're still learning about, with lots of players who have only played a handful of games at the LCK level, it's a really important test to be able to judge whether there are the sort of weaknesses around Griffin that did exist in the Challenger Series.
And already a very interesting adaptation here from Deft. The Zhonya's Hourglass completed here for 4-10 minutes as item number 1. No Rylai's, which has been the rush for a lot of people. Of course, no Banner of Command, because that's gone. But Leandri's Torment, another one that people do like to pick up, as now the fight is on, and Sword taking a lot of damage. Score, he's going to turn up. Marta's already here as well. Brilliant Pillar is going to come down, and Dominus ain't saving you now. First Blood going over to Score.
That was really well played by KT. They knew where the vision was. They're coming from multiple angles. 3 people converge on top. Score with a smile. This time, Sword goes down after being able to answer the critic of Khan in the last series. Watch the replay and consider how much is happening on the minimap while we're just watching the action. From multiple different directions, there's no exit strategy. Had to flash early. Dominus level 1, not going to be a big answer. Also, after teleport was down from Sword, so it forces Tarzan to go top. KT, in terms of so many different factors, and not even having to use a hero's entrance, get a big lead.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. And yes, they did invest Marta moving up there, so Deft can't use the information of the jungler being top to play truly aggressive because the Gragas' position wasn't well known.
But play to your items, Atlas. You were already ruminating on the rush of the Zhonyas. Yeah. What does it do? Well, if Gragas and Yasuo try and all in, the stasis is a very nice thing to reset aggro. If they're trying to gank through bot lane, and Tarzan walking up to the always overextended Mordekaiser and ulting him is a pretty good strategy. In a vacuum for Griffin, what if Zhonya's into Hero's Entrance happens, and you can turn around those fights very cleanly if you're KT. So I think for the playstyle, wanting to overextend, it's fantastic to go the Zhonya's rush.
Well, Tarzan is going to turn up here on the top side of the map, but Smeb is going to try and heal himself back up. Not a lot of items were picked up from Sword when he went back to base, but Tiamat is now there for Smeb, so he'll be able to shove back into this Renekton. Just very important that they were able to take Sword down a peg and catch up in farm here for the Aatrox.
Must admit, I'm already thinking about what late game team fights look in this game, but KT with the Galio, with the Mordekaiser, not that interested in the late game Atlas. They want to keep the pressure on, and Marta showing himself is one way to do that.
Yep, Tarzan is up here towards the top side, but they're looking for the dive as Deft is going to get himself underneath his turret and Zhonya's, but now the dive. Good stun comes down as KT. They're going to have to try and navigate this one. Score gets out. Looks like the dive is going to be successful as Marta, beautiful tanking of the turret. Going to get a cute little stun as Chovy's going to turn up top lane, but he's too late, and Deft, he survives the 1v2.
Griffin ahead of the play this time. They expected it, but they didn't have the numbers to turn it around, and KT get a big advantage, piling on a second kill onto the lane counter in the Renekton. Renekton falls behind. There's item timings where the Aatrox might even be able to win trades way earlier than expected. Smeb does not traditionally get massive resources, but here, going back to his Rocks days a little bit and saying, hey, could I get some ganks? Could I get a bit of help in a difficult matchup? He gets it, not on Maokai duty in Summer. Gonna watch the replay. Marta doesn't even give any chances for an outplay. Flash pole, even though Flash is down on the Renekton, and eventually the Goomba Stomp will take him down.
Yep, UCal is going to be able to pick up that kill as well, so helping him out in the mid lane. Really nicely done, and I love to see Marta unlocked and just roaming around the map, picking up kills everywhere.
And it's just good to see KT pick an early game comp and prosper with it. Pick an early game comp and make some intelligent item choices, and even make the Mordekaiser a very strong pick when it was selected, because Mordekaiser bot lane against double melee is going to be a winning matchup for Mord more often than not. The only place where Griffin was winning in the early game was through the Renekton, and while he has a sliver of a CS lead, it's going to be less gold than the Aatrox picked up, and Mord went Zhonya's first, so actually collapsing on him when the Alistar roams. It feels like Mordekaiser with a Zhonya's rush is the equivalent of the Morgana bot lane we're seeing, because it unlocks your support to roam, and it's very difficult to kill your carry.
Yeah, well, Score actually looking to try and get on top of Viper here. Tarzan, good position at the moment, but KT are very strong right now. Can they do it? Last Breath does come in as Mata still at full health. Viper has the ultimate now on him, but in goes the Aurelia. Can Chovy turn this one around? It looks like yes is the answer. Gigantic wombo, but no, it's going back for KT. Instant triple kill as Yukal says, welcome to my river.
Yukal just smashed that fight. We were looking for something,
Chovy.
almost clips him.
Oh, nicely done with the Blade Surge and will survive, but it looked like Griffin almost had it in that team fight. Yukal, he's still hungry. He wants to finish this off. Winds of War, is it going to be there?
Oh.
That's going to land, but Chovy is still going to survive. Red buff giving him a bit of that regen. He's still running. Can Yukal get there? Wants to Justice Punch, but can't go through.
Got him.
And that's going to be it. Unofficial quadra kill in that fight.
Extended quadra. Yukal saw them all line up, flashed in with the taunt, and oh boy, did some health bars explode, Atlas. Such a big move. They even get the little Viper clone, so they can push forward. That's the sort of Yasuo they can get behind. Watch the replay here. At the start, you think about it and you say, okay, he gets the armor penetration from the last breath. Extended fight against a Yasuo, he'll win. But that's Faker analysis from 2 items. Then there's no 2 items yet. And then Yukal rolls in. Every melee champion has to get in melee range. And he gets a 5-man taunt. Insane.
Just disgusting. Didn't even have his ultimate available.
Didn't need it. That's what happens when you're against 5 melees, when you have a 600-700 range taunt. It's the entire team of Griffin.
Now he's got a 10-stack Dark Seal, as well as that stack and Rod of Ages. Up at about 4 right now. We'll have the Zhonyas very, very soon.
Man, the Dark Seal.
This chicken man is the scariest dancing chicken you have ever seen.
Big damage numbers on the side of KT, and that's because the AoE wombo was not just the Galio in a vacuum. Aatrox was able to do plenty of damage as well. Bit of a mistake from Griffin. They chose a fight where they executed well, but they executed well with no items. They don't have the items to be able to win these sort of fights against Mordekaiser Galio. It's actually a decision-making mistake, and we are seeing Griffin in their test against the early game dynamos of KT Rolster finally look a bit rattled, Atlas. It's been a long time. It's been 6 in a row. It's only game 1, but so far, Griffin certainly rattled.
Yeah, we've seen Griffin lose games in the past. Certainly they lost their first ever game here in the LCK. Managed to turn it around against Hanwha halfway through game 2. Of course, that looked like it was going to be a 2-0. But this is looking like KT in game 1. They're doing like a, last year a Freaker impression with their game 1s. So they're going to start another fight. Yukal's going to try and find the Winds of War here, but Score still looking for more. And now Griffin know that they just straight up cannot fight this team.
At 4 items, I think Griffin have a huge lead in terms of melee versus melee, but before then, at 2 items especially, I think KT really overtake this game. With the Drake control, you also get the extra benefit of being able to siege in a game where there is no siege. Yep. The only range champion on the map is the damn Drake Ghost. But able to put down the siege that was absent otherwise, snowballing hard with the Snowball Mordekaiser drop. Again, this season we've seen Mordekaisers get the Drakes, Mordekaisers not get the Drakes, and that's 100% of the time win or loss for the Mordekaiser. So controlling Drake, winning those early fights, KT drafted for it, and they've executed on it as well.
I only just found out that the Dragon actually gets the bonus movement speed from the W, which
you
is
call
really
yourself
cool.
a Mordekaiser, man. I knew that.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually know. I've always been moving the Dragon away from me.
Def knows. He doesn't move his champion. He only moves the
He
Dragon.
loves moving the Dragon, yeah.
Do you reckon he actually plays practice games or watches How to Train Your Dragon?
Love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Oh, I'm a gigantic. Even the second one was good. It's not often that the second one is good in shows like that.
Well, he wasn't playing it for a while as everyone else abandoned Mordekaiser, but
yeah.
I guess Deft, we have Ruler, the last of the ADCs, and somehow Deft is the last of the Mordekaisers. I don't know what that means. Maybe he watches the Iron Giant.
Or maybe he just really likes pets. I mean, we know he's the alpaca.
True. Well, speaking of pets.
Yeah, Shelly's going to come out as well. They grab a new NPC to take down turrets every time.
And NPCs are the one thing Griffin can't deal with. They can't deal with the Rift Herald. They can't deal with the Drake Spirit. They don't have range when it comes to walking up to these minion waves. And Range champions are the ones to win sieges and try to extend them by wave clearing. So KT are getting an insane gold lead, largely from the neutrals, but also the 7 kills.
Yeah, and the turrets as well. This is going to be their 5th, as this inner turret is incontestable by the side of Griffin. It's some textbook play from KT, and I honestly just don't know what Griffin can do until they've, you know, got to the point where they're protecting a base and trying to capitalize on KT also not having a lot of range.
But see, the old Griffin analysis from Challenger comes back. Wait it out. Wait out the storm. 3-4 item on the Yasuo is when, you know, Infinity Edge plus more is when they'll be able to actually impact these fights, because then 50% armor penetration on the ultimate will be big. Aurelia and Yasuo have 3-4 items, and that's good news for them. Renekton obviously not as opting into that theory, but it's all about getting more gold in the game. It's a 45,000 gold game for Griffin. Even if KT's at 55, there's team fights that can be won. So with a 10,000 gold lead, it sounds big, but there needs to be more gold in the game for Griffin to actually be able to impact. So right now, you just have to hope you don't lose the maximum, and well, there's an objective you're not really in position to fight over, spawning in 20 seconds.
Yeah, that Baron buff is going to be coming up very, very soon. And I wonder whether they're going to do the Wand of the Dragon over to take the Baron. Of course, it's not spawning for the next little while, but could certainly be an option. One of my personal favorite Mordekaiser maneuvers.
Marta knows there's likely to be a Gragas and a Brush. It's all about trying to get as much vision control as possible when you're trying to take Baron as a blue side team. But they walk up. Bruise Bros, Trundle, and Mordekaiser this time. They have engaged. They have the pillar. They can face check the Brush from range, which, again, range at a premium for all these champions. So they have a lot of different utility things to do. They also have a damn fast Baron.
And it looks like they're going to try and head onto it right now. They are. Griffin probably know what's going on as Marta looking for his huge flanking play.
You want them to take damage. If they're behind the pit, this is the sort of thing where last breath for the Baron to actually damage them could be relevant. But when do you contest here? That's the question.
Well, Lehens is going to jump in. Last breath onto Marta, but here's the hero's entrance. They're just going to dive on top. See you later. Viper instantly obliterated. It's a 6v4. Make it a 6v3 as KT. It was all a cunning ruse, and they'll head back to the Baron and take it for free.
And no doubt they weren't expecting the team-wide flashover. Marta's alone. No, no, no. Everyone's flashing in. That is some backup. That is a sort of unity that we didn't necessarily see from KT against SKT. Big stuff for them, and now we see KT with their own little Griffin Viper hit down this Baron.
Yeah, this Baron is melting even faster than it did before. Gonna lose the bottom outer turret, so the first turret of the game going over to Griffin, but trading that for a Baron. KT will take it every day of the week. Let's have a look at it again.
Let's get the pick on Marta, and if one person comes over, like Aatrox with his Q, maybe we'll be fine. Nope, everyone's coming over. You're getting slammed into the ground by the soon-to-be, hopefully, the Medjai's Galio, who's just popping off in the biggest way. He won't get the Medjai's. He'll sit on the 10-stack Dark Seal, and man, the Yasuo lasts a long time.
Yeah, it really does. In fact, they could have been fighting Yasuo v Yasuo, which could be fun. Oh God, 2 Shans, you know, it's one of those moments again, but not happening this game as Shen was banned. Leandri's Torment now picked up by Deft. He's doing a hell of a lot of damage as that blasting one could be the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, or could be a Void Staff if he wants to just go against the potential magic resist that hasn't even been bought yet by Griffin, as Chovy's going to get interrupted. Good stun does come down, but he's slowed down and will just get destroyed. Tries to fight, he's not going to be able to, and Deft grabs that. His second kill of the game.
First rookie tendency we're seeing from Chovy, whose KDA was #1 in the league. 2 control wards down from KT. Almost no vision for Chovy, and caught in no man's land and dies. Should not be there. Big common problem of Ruler when he debuted in 2016. Another kill pads the stats, and Atlas. There's just a lot of sweet items on the side of KT and really nothing on the side of Griffin. They have no way to fight because they also went straight into melee champions. It's sort of a game that snowballs hard because both your teams only do one thing, and sadly, Griffin can't do that thing.
Yep, and Sword actually can't do anything. He was stuck in a billion layers of CC, and then there's a pillar to stop him from even walking away. The tower will go down, and now the fight is going to break out. Marta does have the unbreakable will, and will jump right into the middle of the team. It's a decent start to the fight, though, for Griffin, as they're trying to fight this one back. Marta will go very low and be taken down, but in goes the Aatrox. And remember, this guy's got all of his items. That's a triple kill. Smeb pop enough in this late game. It's not very late, but the game's still gonna be over as KT mow down the base.
KT are also going to decimate Griffin in game number 1. We were waiting for the young guns to look like they could actually bleed, like they could actually be taken down. They're definitely taken down a notch in game number 1.
Yeah, just a disgusting